Hey everyone, so today we're going to continue with our grammar series and common grammar mistakes. Now, we're going to look at why these are common grammar mistakes and how to fix them. Some of these are going to be non-negotiables from starting today. Others are going to become non-negotiables as we move through the year. So with commas, only some are non-negotiable right now, but I still want to go over all of them. So when should we use commas? So one of the main ones is a comma before a coordinating conjunction when we join two independent clauses. So this is a coordinating conjunction which would be known as fanboys: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And so looking at that, what is an independent clause? An independent clause is a clause that stands on its own. So Nina was not a fan of cats, but she loved watching funny cat videos. Nina is a subject and a verb. It can stand on its own, as well as she loved. Both of those are subjects and verbs, and they can stand on their own. If we join those two things with a coordinating conjunction, we need a comma. We'll go more into detail when we get into compound sentences. A second one here is use a comma after a dependent clause. So a dependent clause, that starts a sentence. So a dependent clause, unlike an independent clause, cannot stand on its own. So here we have, even though Nina was not a fan of cats, she loved watching funny cat videos. Notice here, even though Nina was not a fan of cats, cannot stand on its own. If you get rid of she loved watching funny cat videos, just block that with your hand and read the other part. Even though Nina was not a fan of cats. Even though what? Right? We need that extra part of the sentence, and that's why I just hit the mic. Sorry if that was loud. That is why it is a dependent clause. It is depending on her loving funny cat videos. These two are not non-negotiables as of right now, but this one is. Commas in a series, you should be doing this. Nina watches funny cat videos to avoid doing chores, schoolwork, and exercise. If you are listing something out to me, you should be using commas. And I'd like us to really start trying this last one, using commas after an introductory adverb. So unsurprisingly, Nina was grounded from watching YouTube videos. These first two will become non-negotiables in the coming weeks. Hopefully by the end of September, all of these are non-negotiables. But right now, we're really just looking at the third, and the fourth one. Now, all of these are non-negotiable. When to capitalize. You should know when to capitalize. You should capitalize the first letter of the first word in every sentence. You should capitalize the pronoun I. You should capitalize proper nouns. And finally, you should capitalize months, days, and holidays, okay? These are things that need to be capitalized every single time that you are writing. You need this capitalization. These are the non-negotiables, all right? Now, moving into our next one here, run-on sentences, when to add punctuation. And we'll go into a run-on sentence lesson in the coming weeks. But make a sentence out of each independent clause. So Carl showed off his dance moves in the courtyard during lunch. Period. Everyone got out their phones to record it. If you want to do it that way, you can. Add a comma and a coordinating conjunction. Carl showed off his dance moves in the courtyard during lunch, comma, and everyone got out their phones to record it. Add a semicolon, my favorite way, but make sure when you use a semicolon that they do go together. So Carl showed off his dance moves in the courtyard during lunch, semicolon, everyone got out their phones to record it. Or finally, add a subordinate conjunction. This is the hardest one, but when Carl showed off his dance moves in the courtyard during lunch, everyone got out their phones to record it. What you have to stop doing is writing all of it together without one of these four things, right? You need to look at not being like, Carl showed off his dance moves. Everyone, in the courtyard during lunch, everyone got out their phones to record it. We got to move away from doing something like that, okay? Now, error 4 here is using casual texting language, which I know we need to. It's tough to do, but try to use full words instead of abbreviations. Try to use full words instead of symbols. Try to use proper language instead of slang. And try to avoid common texting acronyms. This is when you're writing formally, you should try avoiding all four of these things, okay? These are non-negotiables right now as well. And then a bonus here, which is another thing to look for. When using a computer, if a word is underlined in red, it is misspelled. Words that are easily confused with other words, right? Those happen a lot. We'll have a lesson on that as well. Happens all of the time. Changes in verb tense. This is a really tough one, okay? So I don't expect us to be experts of this anytime soon. And then missing words. Even though it did not snow, I still enjoyed a mug of hot chocolate, a lot of marshmallows. But all of these, if you're on the computer, should kind of show up for you, okay? Especially the verb tenses, the missing words, and especially this one, if it's underlined in red. And so just be looking, all right? Just be looking for all of these. This is what happens when you proofread. If you proofread, some things kind of come back to you, or if you have a partner, look over your stuff. So now we just want to do practices, and pretty much all you're doing is just finding the common grammar mistakes and writing the correct sentence, okay? That's the first 3 examples. But our 4th example, I do want you, because we're going to continue building on our skill from last week, writing simple sentences for me, and having a partner identify the subject and the predicate in your sentences. All right. As always, if you have any questions as we work through this, just let me know. All right. Bye, everybody.